Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about DA Bragg's motion for Judge Merchan to hold Trump in criminal contempt for violation of the gag order. All right, remember the gag order, even originally before it was expanded, prevented him from essentially trashing, saying anything that could intimidate potential witnesses or witnesses in the actual trial. And that after it was expanded, it went up on appeal and it was affirmed on appeal. And shortly thereafter, Trump let loose a torrent of different social media tweets, including real nasty grams involving the DA, involving the judge. Those are not by their terms covered under the order, but three of the tweets the DA says are covered, and he did intentionally violate the order in doing them. The first is when he republishes a social tweet by Michael Avenatti. Remember him? So Stormy's lawyer way back, was on every possible cable show for a while and contemplating running for president. Then ambition was dashed by conduct that resulted in his being put in jail, where he currently serves a pretty substantial time for fraud. But he tweeted out that it's unfair that Michael Cohen can go around trashing Trump, but Trump can't reciprocate, and Trump seized on this, republished it, and then added his little kicker. Thank you, Michael Avenatti, and for bringing attention to, I think the phrase was, two lying sleazebags who have done this country so much harm, referring to Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels. Seems a pretty solid violation of the gag order prohibiting the insults and intimidating language, harassing language about witnesses. And then we have one each on Cohen and Daniels by Trump. With Daniels, he republishes at the whole execution of the hush money scheme. Remember, Stormy gets $130,000, and her job is to, hush on her allegations about the affair. And at the time, she published a statement, one of several, where she essentially, it's a little bit cagey, but she basically says this never happened. That was her job, what she was getting the money for. Obviously, it's going to be the focus of a lot of forceful cross-examination at trial. So you said this, didn't you? You're telling us now you were lying then. Why should we believe that you were lying then? Are you lying now? What else are you lying about, Ms. Daniels, et cetera, et cetera? And then another kind of nasty gram torrent about Michael Cohen, and he's able to be out there trashing me, and he's a complete lying guy who's been convicted of several crimes. Again, Cohen has been convicted of crimes, including perjury. In fact, interestingly, when the prosecution was questioning some of the jurors yesterday, they referred to him that way. Obviously, they want to front that information. But Trump letting out this torrent was, according to Bragg, a violation. It sure seems as if it was. So you go through the legal requirements for criminal contempt, but basically, you're bound and you nevertheless intentionally violate it. That's a criminal offense. So be held in criminal contempt. It's important to know something about criminal versus civil contempt. Civil contempt is meant to force you to comply with a lawful order. It's said that the contemptor holds the keys to the jailhouse door, meaning go in there, and when you're ready to comply, you can come out. Not until then. It's not a criminal penalty. It's a way to force you to comply with the law. Criminal contempt is just a penalty for having knowingly violated. So it's, you violated before, here's the penalty and you pay it, and that's your crime. And now it's been paid off, and that's the end of that violation until the next. But here's a big thing that emerges in the motion, which I hadn't been previously aware. They're asking for the maximum fine under New York law. It is $1,000. So they're not contemplating, as they could be if it were civil contempt. You could go more and more and more until he complies. But if it's just a violation of the standing order, that's a completed criminal offense. And they're telling the court, fine him. There's also a provision for a short term of imprisonment, but for now they're saying fine him $1,000, and that's the max. So it's not as if the next one means 2, 4, 8, etc. So there's a sense in which Trump can just, come to court with 8 $1,000 checks written and tweet out and violate the order and just turn them over. In other words, the criminal contempt fine provisions sure don't seem to be potentially very effective in keeping Trump at bay and keeping him from violating the order and trashing witnesses and the like, which gets very serious once a jury is seated. And indeed, we already have 7 jurors seated. So if things get back to them, that's more grave, it seems to me, than simply rattling potential witnesses. And how will Merchan deal with that? Will he also, for example, move over to potential short terms of imprisonment? You can go in the holding cell we have in the back. Marshals, please escort Mr. Trump. You are being imprisoned for a period of 1 hour, 2 hours, up to, I believe, 30 days. And that's your penalty. But, that is a very, that's the exact kind of collision that courts have been trying hard to avoid with Trump. But it looks as if the money side of things, at least for criminal penalties for trying to set a price for a completed violation, don't really pack much of a punch here. Okay, so we've got the motion. Do 3 what seem to be patent violations, 1,000 each. Trump will reply or respond, and the DA replies. That's the technical terms in the law. And Merchan will hold a hearing on this on Thursday, April 25th, a little bit more than a week, and could it would seem to me, find, yep, this has been violations. Yep, pay $3,000. Of course, who knows what will have happened between now and then, and what would happen thereafter. But it seems to me, if the regime in place is Trump has a criminal violation of the standing order and pays $1,000, it ain't going to do it. And Merchan is going to have to up the ante, as it were, including with the potential for short periods of time, in the holding cell in the back, even Rikers Island potentially. It's really up to Trump and how crazy he wants to be. But this one we'll see play out, and Trump will probably wind up writing a check, but we're not at the end of this, and Merchan and the DA are going to, I think, the DA is going to be asking, and Merchan is going to be threatening to grant something a fair bit more serious than $1,000 check. Talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.